The acrylic fall path is probably one of my favorite pictures to do. It is, again, not using the traditional colors, but more of a vibrant, almost neon sort of design. As you watch, we are creating our underpainting by just simply giving ourselves some tree trunks, a horizon line, a basic outline of where our path needs to be. Notice that the path comes from the center but actually curves towards us and enlarges as it comes towards us. Very simply, we are just sketching out with paint. The next process is to do a very light dusting of paint in the background. Be sure that your black paint has thoroughly dried. If not, you will get smudges and smears. In this process, I have a mixture of blue and green and white, and I am adding extra white to the damp paint on the canvas. So here and there I am just adding slightly darker areas, slightly lighter areas. I'm also taking that same blue-green mixture and painting my path with a little bit of white in the center. This will just give me a little bit of an edge so that I'll see the difference between the ground and the path. While our paint is still wet, we are going to go over it with yellow. And unlike previous designs that we've worked with, this yellow is really covering a lot of the area. I'm not leaving very many spaces in between to allow the light through because I want this to be very layered. So this yellow is actually going to represent a little bit of the light coming through the trees. I'm also adding a little bit of orange to this to break up the monotony of the yellow. And then I'm adding straight yellow, no mixing of any sort, to the foreground on both sides of the path. And a little bit of yellow in the center of the path because we are going to add some yellow leaves. The yellow just works out well for a fall picture. Again, I'm going straight yellow over top of my yellow-white mixture that's in the background. Note this time I am allowing for some of the light to shine through the leaves of the trees. So I'm not covering up all of the background. I want to allow some of that blue, green, and white mixture to show in the background. Again, using very bright colors can really help your design. So I'm just adding only red and yellow. In this case, I'm adding a little bit of a hot pink to my design to allow for that red to actually look more red instead of yellow. This hot pink that I'm using is actually a magenta. Magenta is a nice balancing color. I'm adding the same colors to the lower parts, the lower ground. Notice that my paintbrush is always held at an angle. I try to do all of my leaves horizontally. You don't want to have round splotches, you don't want to have vertical splotches, but sort of horizontal dashes create a better leaf. If you look at leaves in real life, they actually are very flat on the picture or outside because they are trying to garner as much light as they possibly can. So the flat part of the leaf actually hangs out and shines up towards the sunlight. I'm adding a little bit of green to this to create the sense of there being maybe just a few leaves that haven't changed yet. It also helps to add some contrast to my design. I want this to be as nice of a fall picture as I can, but again, it's non-traditional. It is a very bright fall picture. Hopefully this will allow you to feel more confident whenever it comes to mixing your paints for a more of a traditional picture. I'm adding a little bit of magenta to my black now. This will do is create sort of a purplish black that will create the tree trunks and the limbs. It is not usual to use brown for your trees, no matter what tree you are drawing. Usually it is a light purple, even a greenish tone in some cases. Black really works out well for this as well. The final thing I'm going to do is add a little guy that's standing in the middle of the path like he's walking away from us. And I'm also adding a little bench in the background. I'm just using straight black with this, creating just a little bit of texture and a little bit of extra interest to our picture.